On this particular legislation, I will have to disagree with my friend from Texas. Let's remember what we're talking about with regard to the child tax credit. First, in order to qualify, you must be a family with children, obviously a child tax credit. You're talking about working families. You're talking about working families who pay and pay taxes and file tax returns. And you're talking about children who would receive this support as a result of being part of a family that works hard but earns very modest income. We're not talking about middle-class families. We're not certainly talking about wealthy families. We're talking about hardworking families who happen to have some children but don't make very much money, so they qualify for the chance to have a child tax credit and maybe have it be refundable. In the case of this particular provision, this legislation would punish the children of working parents who happen to be of immigrant background. I am the son of immigrants. I know how hard my parents worked, and I know how tough it is to eke out a living if you're making a very modest income. All of these families that we're talking about qualify for the child tax credit because they are tax filing families who work and who have children. To require the Social Security number does nothing to impact the fact that they work, file their income taxes, and qualify because they have children. The Social Security number simply acts to eliminate the qualification for so many of these families for this tax credit. And it's unfortunate because you're mostly talking about, as I said earlier, families who are on the edge. They do not make a great deal of money. And we're, in this case, talking about probably somewhere around 3 million children who would lose out on the child tax credit, not because their parents didn't work, not because their parents failed to file income taxes, not because they didn't qualify under the current status of the law, because simply we will require that they present a Social Security number. The Social Security number is not necessary to prove that you work or that you have a child. It is unfortunate that we would take this approach because if we're really trying to go after a broken immigration system, which my friend Mr. Johnson and I have worked on in the past to try to resolve, I think we're all there for that. If we're here to try to tackle the issue of fraud, which may exist within the child tax credit program, I think we're all in support of doing something like that. But I don't believe everyone here would claim that there are 3 million children who are committing fraud in qualifying for the child tax credit. I would hope that we would rethink this type of policy because it does very little to deal with the possibility of fraud that may occur in parts of the program, which all of us are prepared to tackle. It simply would take a broad brush and sweep many, many working families in America under this definition that would deny these working families a chance to qualify for the child tax credit. Maybe for most of us here, it doesn't mean a big deal, but for a family making $20,000, $25,000 a year with children, a child tax credit goes a long way. And to simply say because these are children, most of them, the vast majority are U.S. citizen children who would now be denied the child tax credit even though their parents work, pay taxes, file their tax returns simply because of their immigration status is a wrong-headed approach to punish children for what we think is a broken system of immigration laws or a potential of fraud that may exist in aspects of this program which have nothing to do with these kids that are going to be impacted. So I would urge my colleagues to reject this proposal and let's go at the issue of fixing our broken immigration system or tackling fraud, but not at the expense of 3 million children who are part of working families who pay taxes and try very hard to build this country. With that, I'll yield back the balance of my time.